Families, friends, and millions of Nigerians heaved a sigh of relief on October 5 when stories filtered that abductors of the 23 remaining passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train have released them. The victims had spent over 6 months in the bush in terrible condition. However, despite claims by the government that no ransom was paid for the release of the remaining captives, there are speculations that some families paid as high as $200,000 for the release of their loved ones. Others say that about 100 million naira was paid per abductee. This will be the focus of our conversation tonight, including how the negotiation for the release of the abductees was carried out. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Hamza Idris. We will take a short break now, and when we return, the conversation commences. Do stay. Welcome back. Tonight, we are joined by the Secretary of the Chief of Defense Staff Action Committee, charged with the responsibility of negotiating with for the release of the Kaduna train abductees, Professor Usman Yusuf. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much for having me.
Prof is also the former Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS. We're happy having you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Prof, until after the release of the remaining 23 abductees, not much was heard about this Chief of Defense Staff Committee. What was happening?
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Okay.
With all the noise in the background, we were doing our work. And we started, so this terrible attack happened on the 28th of March this year.
Yeah.
And on the 29th of March, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, assembled us to see how we can help the non-kinetic arm.
You mean just a day after the incident?
Absolutely. And we've been at it since then. We've spent our Salah and we've been away from our families for 6 months. So, and it's always better when you're doing things like this for it to be quiet while the noise continues. Once in a while you see me breaking my cover and talking, but not about the work. So that's how it's supposed to be, and the result achieved is what we hoped for and what we got. But yes, the reason I'm going around media houses and talking is to let Nigerians know that, and I've seen it, watching it, that the government wasn't doing anything. The government doesn't care. The military doesn't care. But the honest truth, I know that because I've been involved for 6 months. A day after it happened, wow. We were in panel, 29th. We've been working, meeting family members, going into the forest, sending interlocutors, and meeting everybody. So what happened on the 5th of October was not the singular effort of one person or one group. It's everybody. Okay. Everybody came in. If anybody.
But before we get to that, who were the other members of this group?
They are honorable gentlemen that have served this nation in various capacities in this country, and they've offered their services again as volunteers to see what they can do. Among the group, of course, 3 retired generals that have served, absolutely, that have served to the highest level of this military in uniform. The 3 of them, between them, they have cumulatively gave 100 years of service to this country. Wow. 35 years, 35 years, and 30.
The 3 generals.
Absolutely. Not only in Nigeria, but abroad in conflict zones. They're offering their services to see how they can be of help, and trying to see how they can be a bridge between the kinetic and the akinetic component. And then we have academic, we have a diplomat that has worked in intelligence, you have Fulani elder. We were assembled for a very good reasons. Everybody brought in enrich the group from all their experiences. And this is the result we got. It's not one person, but everybody.
How were you convinced that there was good intention?
From whom?
From the Chief of Defense Staff.
No. We've never doubted his intention. He's an honorable man. We met him, we saw he's not anyone you can approach. You have to gauge the person and see that this is a person you can do business with. We've never doubted his intention, and he embraced us from day one and escalated the idea to the president, who gave his support and approval to go ahead. And that did not in any way stop the military from continuing their kinetic component. So this is the akinetic part of the war.
Yeah, and that is the question I wanted to ask, whether it was actually wholly a military operation.
It is a military operation, because we civilians, there's no way we could have done what we did without the military. None. And there's no way I can walk up to the president, or any civilian can walk up to the president and say, I will do this. No. It was primarily a military problem that conceived and guided by the Chief of Defense Staff all through. What we got when we deployed into the field, we were supported all throughout by the military.
But I want to know this. Was it that all of you had a certain connection before you were brought on board by the Chief of Defense Staff, or they picked you individually?
No, you don't need any connection to do good.
Okay.
And it's not anyone that wants to risk his life and go into the forest and do that without being paid. People want to be paid for that. They say, no, that's not why we're here. We offered our services. We offered our services.
You mean pro bono?
Absolutely.
Prof, but there are allegations that lots of money exchange hands among you. Yeah, people are just saying that. Maybe you clear the air?
Maybe they don't know me.
Okay.
I left an agency, National Health Insurance Scheme, that has more money than all these governors running around. Money has never been.
Your motivation?
Absolutely, not me, not any of the 6 other honorable men in this committee.
You were 7 in the group.
Absolutely. Let me tell you.
All right.
No amount of money. No amount of money. Nobody can pay any one of us to do what we did. We did it for this our country. Because this is our country, this is our people, this is our land. Nobody will pay us to do this. We came to do this.
What was the motivation?
The motivation is Nigeria, the motivation is our people. You need nothing more. You need nothing more. This country of ours has given all of us a lot more than we've given back. So we sit down and watch or lament, like everybody else is doing, that, oh, government has failed, military has failed. What have you done? God Almighty will ask each and every one of us, what have you done? Tomorrow will be better because you've done your part today. We've done our part, and we'll do a lot more. We've been doing. These generals have served this country cumulatively 100 years in uniform, in battlefields.
You two have put in many years.
Right. So everybody has done. I mean, we are not at a stage in our lives where we are asking for government to give us any penny. No. So whoever says that can say whatever he wants to say.
But people are asking, you can't do this without maybe beyond the Chief of Defense Staff, maybe the Office of the National Security Advisor. Was the office involved in this?
No, I don't know. So is the politics? I wouldn't know. What I know is our channel was through the DHQ. And the head of the military is the Chief of Defense Staff. He was our principal, and he escalated that to the president. So any other thing up there, I'm not privy to that. But it's the operation of the Chief of Defense Staff.
Prof, how did you start the process? Maybe you take us through?
No, you remember we have had a history. But I and the Sheikh Gumi group, we've had a history over the last 2 years going into the forest in 8 northern states, 5 in the northwest, 3 in the north central, meeting with these bandits. And we played a role. And many of the members in this group were part of the group that played a role in rescuing Afaka Federal College of Mechanization, getting them out. So we are not rookies just jumping into the place. We just realized, look, we need to be able to do more than just sitting down and watching. We can do something. That was why we offered our services.
If I understand, this is not the first one you involve yourself negotiation.
Yeah, we've done this before, and not me, members of that committee too. So we were not just rookies. We had experience, and we see there's an opportunity for us to help the military, for us to help the country to be able to get our people out. That was why we offered our services, and the Chief of Defense Staff embraced us, supported us, conceived the idea, and guided us all through, visited us in the field. He's been very supportive, listened to all our frustrations. There were
what
good
are some
days.
of these frustrations?
No, there were good days and not so good days. The biggest frustration we had that we never slept was the day these terrorists were brutalizing the men.
Yeah.
And sending the videos all over the country. Any human being that sees it, there's no way you can, and many other things. They renege on negotiations, they agree on this, they don't agree on this. So it's not, and this is the nature of the beast. This is what you get when you negotiate. Good days are not so good days. We come to him, there are days we want to walk away. And he tells us, gentlemen, you are here for a purpose, keep your eye on the ball. The purpose you're here is to help get everybody out.
Was Sheikh Gumi part of the latest?
No, he's not part of this.
Why?
No, he's not.
Because you've been working very closely. Whoever knows you knows Sheikh Gumi.
Absolutely. This is a different. This is not part of the Sheikh Gumi initiative. It's not.
Is it that he said he wasn't interested?
No, he wasn't even consulted.
Okay, and you took it that way.
Yeah.
Prof, I want to know, who are these people? And Nigerians want to know, because when this thing happened, some call them bandits, some call them ISWAP, some call them Boko Haram, some call them Ansaru. Who are these people?
Who the
abductors.
Right. So when you have a situation like this, the first thing you do as a group, and this is what we did, we met here very, very, very many occasions here, meeting family members and talking to them and consoling them and giving them hope, even when there was no hope, when nobody knew who was in charge. We needed to establish contact. We needed to establish, who are these guys? Who are these bad guys? Who are they? What group are they? Are they the regular bandits that we've been visiting in the forest? Are they Boko Haram? Are they Ansaru? Are they Dar es Salaam? Are they ISWAP? Or are they any other new group of... One needed to find that out. And when you find that out, you find, where are they located? Who do they listen to? What are their grievances? So we needed to do that, then establish contact. Once we established contact, then we deployed into the field and kept working. But essentially, they said it in public and to those who were released that they are members of Boko Haram. They are not the regular bandits we've been visiting in the forest.
And what was the motivation behind the attack on that train?
Right. So you see, every criminal has his grievance, that they think it is legitimate. Right. There is nowhere, no scripture or no culture that legitimizes what they were doing. 8 people were killed in cold blood.
Yeah.
On that fateful day. They were just nothing but travelers. They were killed in cold blood. 63 were taken, abducted into the forest, from a 2-year-old to an 85-year-old grandmother that just came back from medical check, a pregnant woman, many women, into the forest. They are not combatants, they're just ordinary travelers. So which religion, which culture, which grievance will justify what they did? So if you and I, sensible people, try and
figure out,
we can't figure that out. So you need to hear them out and see how you can work. Your ultimate goal as negotiating team is to see how you can get everybody out and let the military do what they are trained to do.
So what did you do to talk to them? You said they told you they are Boko Haram. And I want to know two things. One, how did you approach them? You meet them one-on-one, and then you discuss. What did they tell you, and what did you tell them?
I'm sure you're not asking me to tell you what they told me. Hamza,
yes,
so this is the nature of the way things are. There are a lot of things. You remember you said nobody knew we've been working for 6 months.
Yeah.
And why am I talking now? I'm really talking to explain to the world and to the nation what has been done and what is going to be done. Because people have been saying government doesn't care. And that is why. And there is a limit to what one can say. The honest truth is we found interlocutors that can get to them, and we sit down and talk. And it took 6 months. And he got us where we got. Alhamdulillah, everybody's out.
So, but how did you convince them to release this?
Right. And it's not been easy, to be honest. I mean, it's you have to find, there's no human being in this world, no matter how bad you are, that just dropped from the sky.
Okay.
Without having somebody who he will listen to. Nobody in this world, no matter how bad you are. So you have to find out who do these people listen to? Who are their leadership? Where are they? What are their grievances? This is what can be done. This is what can never be entertained. So this is how the process was achieved through.
And you met several times. Please tell us, because honestly, Nigerians are agitated. How you people even summon the courage to now move into the bush to approach these people?
Right. And Nigerians need to be assured. I am one of the greatest critics of this government and the military and security. I've been on record.
Yeah.
My working with the military over the last 6 months has honestly given me a lot of, opened a window and given me a lot of respect about the challenges they are going through.
The military?
Absolutely. There's just no way.
How?
I will tell you. No way we could have done this without the military. None. There's no way you can even go close to the forest without the military. None. None. This committee, when we went into the field, we were essentially covered by the military.
Okay.
From the Chief of Army Staff, from the CDS Chief of Army Staff, the GOC in Kaduna, the past and the present, they gave us all the support. And the AOC Air Force. And there was a colonel embedded in the committee.
Wow.
From day one to the end, to the very end. There was no way I would go without this colonel scoping the place and telling us it's safe to be there. Entry or exit. Recce, air and land. Safe to go is not safe to go. And this is how you go in, this is how you go out. Without the military, there's no way we could have, none. Wherever we went, even if they don't see the military is flying drone over us.
But Prof, here lies the difficult question I want to ask you. If they will give you cover, they will give you support to go and meet these people, meaning they know where they are, why is it that they don't, bomb them?
Good, good. So Hamza, I want you to think, if your relative was one of those, would you have wanted the military to go and bomb?
Kaduna governor said there must be collateral.
Let's not talk about Kaduna governor. Don't irritate me some more. Elijah Hamza. Cool? He says that collateral because it's not his relative in there. When you have a situation like this, you have one of 4 or 5 options to take. One, send in the military to do a rescue operation knowing very well that there's going to be collateral. That thing you call collateral are human lives. Human lives. If it was your relative, I want you to think. And that collateral could be 60%. 60% of those will be killed. The military will kill all the terrorists there and rescue 40%. From the outset, the president and chief of defense staff said that wasn't an option.
Okay, that wasn't an option.
Absolutely. We wanted everybody out safely. And then the military will go and continue what they do best. Period. Number 2, Pay ransom. Pay ransom. I want Nigerians to think these are the people that attacked that train, killed 8 people in cold blood, paralyzed the railroad, took 63 hostage. Which sane government, either in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, would pay the money, 100 million per head, 6.3 billion, for them to go and buy arms, to continue doing what they do? That wasn't an option. And we, the committee, as representatives of the government, were very clear from the outset, even talking to them. Money is not our brief. We're not talking about money, and government will not pay ransom. So, military operation to go and sustain 60% casualty would be stupid and was an option neither the president nor the chief of defense staff nor the rest of the military were ready to incur. Number one. Number two, paying ransom was not an option. And we emphasized that as members of the committee to them. We would say that, and they would cut off communication with us for days.
After you told them
absolutely
ransom wasn't an option.
Yeah, they were asking exorbitant, silly number. There was no way we could even escalate that to our principal and say they want this money, because we are not going to advise our principal on that. So paying ransom, going in the military and killing the bad guys and rescuing 40% was not an option. What is the other option? Do nothing, as many governors have been doing.
Okay. But before we get to the governors.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Do nothing. The third one is, oh, you give up. As some governors have said, we've given up. And the fourth.
You mean some of the governors have given up?
Absolutely. Arm yourself, do this. Isn't that what some governors are saying?
And was that not an option?
Never.
Because the governors lost hope in the security architecture.
Not this time around, I'll tell you, because I'm involved. The president was in the know. The chief of defense staff was in the know. The security agencies were in the know. We were literally pleading and begging with the military, please give us time, please. Patience is not in the DNA of the military. They want to go and do what they are trained. We are pleading with them, give us time, give us time, give us time.
But was it that space that gave room for Tukurumamu to now penetrate?
Right, so, and it's very important for us, Nigerians, to realize when you talk about this gentleman,
yeah,
whatever we say is sub judice, is before the court of law.
But certain things
we shouldn't be, no, Idris, sorry, Haji Hamza, we shouldn't be discussing what is before the court of law. The investigative authority and the court of law will judge him accordingly, not in a studio like this. So ask me questions I can answer, please.
Okay, I will draw a line, but I have to ask one question because it is in the open. More than 30, their families confess that they paid money to the terrorists through Tukurumamu. We interviewed many of them. So we can keep that aside. We know some ransom was paid. Now, the remaining 23, among the families, one alleged that $200,000 was also paid. How true was that?
Paid to whom?
To the bandits.
But who did it? Because we, the committee, we were in the forest for 3 days. 3 days. 3 days. Before we got these people out.
Yeah, because this is the allegation.
No, the allegations and some allegation, people can say whatever in the comfort of their
room.
We've been in the forest, right? Exposing ourselves to risk to save human lives. So anybody talks nonsense doesn't know what he's talking about. We were in the forest for 3 days. Today, tomorrow, today, tomorrow. We got it.
And we were told that it was that effort for the terrorists or bandits to get that ransom that actually extended the negotiation time within those 3 days.
Yeah, who told you this? When you hear a story, when you're asking for a story, ask for those who are here. Ask me. I was there live. Ask me. That's why I'm here.
Then why the back and forth?
It's always been back and forth. This thing, they were supposed to have been out on the 1st of October.
Yes.
We wanted to give this country a good news 1st of October.
Okay, that was it. Okay.
We went on the 30th and waited. and they refused to show up. Why? Because they had aircrafts.
Aerial reconnaissance of sorts.
No. Aircrafts, Air Force, they were practicing for October 1. So they thought the Air Force was coming to attack them. So they...
Meaning they didn't even trust you 100%.
No,
Maybe they gave you 70 or
good. It's not a question of trust. You build trust. I mean, the trust from zero to whatever. But there is no trust in all the places. So they cut off communication, but you have to hang around there and keep waiting. And then they come up, and then they say, and then they say. So it's nothing to do. We are honorable men. Now, from the outset, we said if money is going to be involved, we step back. And that was why we stepped back when families or whoever was taking 100 million. No, that wasn't our...
But were we aware, while you were trying to negotiate for the release of all of them, that monies were being exchanged?
Between who and who?
Tukurumamu and the terrorists.
So when there's money involved, we step back.
Okay.
The committee stepped back and said, we're not going to get involved with money. If the choice of the family was to go through any path with money, that is the choice. You can't stop them. We were in Kaduna all this time. We would meet family members when no government agency was meeting them, assemble them, reassure them that everything was going to be okay. There was no way we could tell them what government was doing. Okay. But we keep reassuring them. They say, if it is the son of this, if it is the son of this.
Yeah, they keep asking you.
No, not only that, we bore their anger. The government wasn't doing this, the government wasn't doing this, we would have to.
And maybe they will say, Prof, if your son was part of it, you will have paid.
No, they said it. They said it. Or if it is President Buhari's son, or if it is General Lucky Irabo's son, would he be this? We'll just be... But God knows what the President, what General Irabo were doing, and what all of us were doing. We were just taking all the anger, taking all their punches. And now they are laughing and apologizing. We told them this day would come. We just didn't know when. But we were asking for patience from them. And we were giving them hope when we also didn't think there was going to be hope. We're giving them hope. We're listening to their anger, their cries, and they say, you said when? It's going to be like the government is not doing this. But we knew we were doing what we were doing.
Now you are one of the famous critics of the Buhari administration.
Absolutely. Famous.
Yes, your name is everywhere, Prof. Yes, at what point did you now agree to work for the government?
I'm not working for the government, Hamza, you need to get it right.
But
I'm working for, listen, I'm working for the people, I'm working for the nation. Simple.
All right.
It's not a party, it's not a government thing, it's not APC, PDP, government.
You are pro-Nigeria.
Everybody, shouldn't everybody be, for goodness sake, shouldn't everybody be for our people, for this country? This is what Mark Twain said. Mark Twain said, patriotism is...
You have a twin?
Mark Twain. Mark Twain.
Oh, Mark Twain. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
okay,
Mark Twain said, patriotism is loyalty to the country always.
Okay.
And loyalty to the government when it deserves it. You like it or not, you like this government or not, I will be the first to tell you President Muhammadu Buhari was instrumental in the success of this. Absolutely.
And that is why I want to ask you.
No, without him, without his approval and his support, there is no way General Lucky Irabo could have done this. None. General Irabo, listen to me, our principal needed to get approval from the Commander-in-Chief. The Commander-in-Chief is Mr. President. I have a group of people that want to be able to help. And I want your permission to be able to let them do that. If the president says no, that's the end of the story. And all through the frustrations, the president remained with this mission and continued to support our principal, General Irabo, just like he continued to support us in spite of all the challenges we face in the field. So, you like this government or not, President Muhammadu Buhari was instrumental, his support his support
to the success of this.
Absolutely.
I will ask you one question when we return on President Muhammadu Buhari. Viewers, we will take a short break now, and when we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us, please.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our various social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We're interacting with Professor Usman Yusuf, former Executive Secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme, who also served as the Secretary of the negotiation team put together by the Chief of Defense Staff. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, because you throw some encomiums on the president. Is it this last interaction you have, the negotiation you had, that gave you a different perspective about the president? Because the allegation out there is that he's not even aware of happenings in Nigeria.
No, it's not. It's not true. There's no way we could have done this without the CDS getting approval from him. So this much I know he's fully aware, and is briefed regularly by the Chief of Defense Staff and the other security agents. And he's been very focused on how do we get these people out. Every day of he doesn't want to leave a legacy of living people hostages.
But there are thousands of people.
That's work to be done.
Now the work of your committee, has it ended with the bringing back of the remaining 23, or you've been tasked to do other negotiations to bring back thousands of people who are held captive across the geopolitical zones?
Right, good. Like you said, we have many of our people all across this country in the hands of bad people. And right from the outset, we, the committee, said, in the committee, our brief is to see how we can help get this final, everybody out. But this thing all through was, our deed shouldn't be done just by everybody getting out. That is just the tip of an iceberg. We have many of our people. You remember the children of Federal Government Girls College, Biniyauri?
Yes.
They're still in the hands of bandits.
Yes, they are.
There is still a student of Baptist High School.
The Bethel.
Yes, Bethel School in Kaduna. Leah Sharibu is still in the hands of Boko Haram.
There are some in the northeast.
There are many Chibok girls all over.
Yes, Chibok girls.
Yes, and all across the north and the north.
The Depchi girl?
That's Leah Sharibu. So there are many all across. Our hope and prayers is we have been able by this show that the kinetic can continue parallel with the akinetic. And this is not, we are the same people. So splitting the country and saying civilians and this thing. And it came beautifully because this was directed by the military, with the bridgehead of former military generals. They pulled the akinetic into the kinetic. We had a colonel spearheading this, the 1st Division. He was the one marrying this together in a neat way that we don't get hurt. And there's no trouble. Everybody goes home safely and everybody gets, without him directing all through this in the field.
Was there undue interference while you were undue interference, maybe from government or from
No. To be honest, no. I mean, this is the first time I've worked in this kind of committee, but it was really wonderful, been very supportive. The CDS visited us in the field, just like he would visit his troops in Maiduguri or Chibok.
You wore fragmented jackets and all that?
We are part and parcel of this war.
Okay.
The akinetic and the kinetic, they are not mutually exclusive. They need to be brought together to see. Soldiers cannot, it's not in their DNA to sit down and talk to terrorists. No, that's not their job. We need to lift that burden off of them and get people that can reach.
So they still believe that they will not negotiate with terrorists? The military?
The military, that is not their job.
So they allow you to do that?
Nowhere in the world is the job of the military to come and sit down in an ongoing war. We are at war.
But we expected to hear some bombardments after the rescue, but up to now, not much.
No. The military, I tell you, because we have seen, we have talked. There are times when the terrorists will tell us that they are cutting off communication with us because of so much military presence, that if we want to continue, we have to ask the military to pull back. I say, It's not going to happen. We needed the military there to pressure them. And they hear planes flying over them. That is enough pressure for them to want to make a deal. But the military is doing its own, is doing its part, and is keeping an eye on everything.
But how much? Because billions of naira have been expended in procurement of hardware for the military. What are they waiting for? These people are around the northwest, the northeast. Is Nigeria too big to be secured within weeks? Or is it when the elections come?
See, Haji Hamza,
yes, Prof.
You and I are now armchair generals. I told you.
Let me tell you. And I also covered the crisis for a very long time. So I'm worried.
Honestly, I'm one of the biggest critics, and I have been, of this military and this government. And I told you, sitting down with them over this last 6 months gave me an appreciation of the challenges and how things are. Nigeria is very vast.
Is it that you just want to arrest them and keep them in prison?
It's not the job of the military to arrest. I will need you to understand that. Everybody has his role. Niger State alone, if you pull up all the 5 states in the southeast, put them in Niger State, there'll still be a lot more room to. It's easier for aircraft to track Boko Haram in hillocks than to track.
But what is really the problem, Prof? They have the equipment.
I'm not a soldier. Why are you asking me?
You are part of them now, Prof.
Why are you asking me? Seriously, there are.
But you have an opinion, probably.
No. Kagani, I'm not here.
All right. Maybe you should have an opinion.
I'm not here, the spokesman of the military. Neither am I sitting.
But you are the spokesman of Nigeria.
Neither am I sitting down for Garbashir or Femi Adesina.
Okay.
I'm just educating Nigerians of what really happened and trying to disabuse the minds of people that government did not care from the outset. And I am in our there's this thing we call adultery.
Yeah.
Being charitable to a person. If a person does well, you praise him. If he doesn't do well, you criticize him. I've been criticizing this government and this president unflinchingly. And I am the one here. As far as this operation is concerned, I will be the one to heap praises on the president and the military because I saw the role they played.
Does it have anything to do with 2023? Maybe the renewed vigor in approaching the problem?
Okay, it's never too late.
Okay.
But it's never too late to start. I don't know the timing, why now?
Okay.
But to be honest, we are seeing the results of the increased vigor. And we must understand that throughout the 6 months of this operation, we Nigerians will never know. But we've lost gallant men in this operation. Men that are sons, that are husbands, that are brothers, that you never hear their names listed. We need to tarry a while and say a prayer to this man in the process of rescuing everybody. They put their lives on the line and pay the ultimate price. So when we sit down and do all the criticism, we should never forget the men we've lost and the men we continue to lose all through the battlefield.
Prof, why I am asking is because ahead of 2015, I was reporting for the Daily Trust in the Northeast. I was the bureau chief there, so I covered the Boko Haram crisis. I saw similar renewed vigor in Jonathan. And that is why I know Nigerians are really agitated and they want an answer, even though you said you are not part of them, you are not part of the military or this thing. That is why I am asking. Is it that only during elections that we see new determination from our leaders to be more committed to addressing some of these atrocities?
Yeah, so our prayers, and that is why us, even though we come to work, we shouldn't be, our voices should not be down. We should continue to raise our voices. That this intensity we see, we should not relent on that. The military should not relent and the government should not relent even after election. And if it is maintained, I have no doubt this thing can be solved. But I've always said, all these conflicts we see in this country, there's a role for the military, but there is no military solutions to any one of them. We are beginning to see by the work of this committee that the military and the presidency is seeing the value of involving the akinetic component. Only when you marry the two will you be able to achieve the success desired. There are a lot of things you cannot go and bomb. You can't bomb grievances. You have to listen to people. And this, for the military to be patient to allow us to do this and achieve this result, Nigerians should not underestimate that. Honestly, we should appreciate the patience. Soldiers are not patient by nature, but we are wasting time. We should, when we beg them, please let us, please, please, please. If we had lost a single person, we cannot come and beat our chest and say we achieved it. But there's no way we could have done anything we did without the military, without the support of the president. That I cannot overemphasize.
Okay, I am tempted to ask you this question. There is this girl, is it Mudubi or what do they call her, in custody of the terrorists, which Tukur claimed that one of the commanders wanted to marry her. Are you aware of her case?
Azurfa is her.
Azurfa, yes, I say Mudubi, yes.
Azurfa.
Yes, are you aware of her case?
No, there was on August 19th, there was a press statement signed by this gentleman you mentioned that one...
The military don't call him gentleman.
Yeah, one of the commanders was planning to marry this girl, this Azurfa, a 21-year-old, 300 level student in Kaduna State University, who is a Christian.
Yes.
And he was invoking the bad memories of Leah Sharibu.
Yes.
Leah Sharibu, who at that time was a 14-year-old Christian, refused to renounce her faith, and Boko Haram married her off.
She was the lone Dapchi girl.
Right. Yeah. This is traumatic for all the nation. So you're now bringing this. What are you? And you're writing a letter to Khan and the federal government, invoking that, and the whole Christian world. So we don't want a repeat of that. It was very distressing for the committee that this happening again under our watch will be the last.
You were disturbed?
Very.
You thought it was a gimmick on his side?
No, but we saw it was written, whatever the reason that it was written, then it heightened our this and that we need to find out what. So every one of the hostages released, man and woman, before this 23, we would sit and talk with them and ask them about things. And all the women would tell us that the women in their captivity were treated better than the men.
Oh.
And
They were not abused?
not at all. And this idea of the commander getting ready to marry her was a lie.
Oh my God. Just a lie?
It was a lie. So what purpose was he trying to serve by that? By heightening some religious at an election time when the nation is fractured by all its fault lines of ethno-religious differences. So each time we talk to them, we say, how is Azurfa?
Okay.
Yes.
But was she part of those that were brought back?
So a few days before they came, because they came from afar, a few days before they came, they would say, King Azurfa is not feeling, Azurfa wasn't feeling well. And that was the reason they were slow or they aborted the trip. Then we would call the next day, how is Azurfa? Remember, there's a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
But our attention was more to this girl. Because of what thing. But they took care of this girl. And the first thing when we saw them, when they delivered them all to us, we asked, Azurfa, where's Azurfa? Where's Azurfa? She came out. Azurfa is one of the 23 that was discharged, that was released. She was never molested. She was never there was no story of her, the commander wanting to marry her. We did not leave Kaduna yesterday until Azurfa, who was the last patient in the military hospital to be discharged. We discharged her to her family. So Azurfa, the 21-year-old, 300-year level Christian girl, was never molested. There was no story of her, of the commander wanting to marry her, and she was released with all the 23 released hostages on the 5th of October.
I want you to now tell Nigerians that no ransom was paid to achieve this feat.
Good. And I've said it, and that's one of the reasons I've been going around all media houses in Hausa and in English.
No ransom was
paid. The federal government of Nigeria did not pay ransom.
Because the claim was that all those who could afford it, they paid. Now these 23, they could not afford it. Now the CDS commission you.
Commission me to go and
not
pay.
you, but your committee.
Anyway,
Bro,
no. Our committee was here long before this money. And to be honest, if you hear them from the outset, money was not part of their demands from the very beginning.
Was it that they were attempted, they were offered? Somebody instigated the money aspect?
Money was never part of their this. And it's up to you, the reporters and...
We have story, Prof. We have story going around.
Yeah.
It started 2 days ago that over 100 suspected Boko Haram terrorists were released from Kirikiri in exchange for the release of these 23.
Hamza, you know, my wife.
Nigerians are asking this question.
I know, good.
Yes.
I woke up yesterday and my wife called me and said, hey, have you seen this story?
Okay.
Not only that, some idiot signed my name.
Oh.
Yeah.
That you took them.
No. That it was me that wrote that.
Oh my God.
But initially, the first one I read was okay, fellow Nigerians. This is the story. The story started at 6 a.m.
Yes.
Of the 8th, that is Saturday, right?
Yes.
101 Boko Haram terrorists that were incarcerated in Kirikiri medium and high security, maximum security prison were released in exchange for the 23 last hostages. And I want Nigerians to think. So they said that they were released on Saturday morning. But we got all the 23 on Wednesday.
5th.
On Wednesday, the 5th.
So you mean no correlation?
No. So it's up to you guys to go to Kirikiri and say, were there really 101 prisoners there? Were they released? No release of anybody came through us. No prisoner released.
But what was given to them to release these people?
So no prisoners were released. It's a very important question you ask, because this nonsense has been circulating around. If I write, whatever I write, critical or praising the government or anybody, I sign my name. so that you know it's from me. If they're going to catch me, it's me. But whoever wrote it is a coward that he didn't sign his name. Just writing anything. These are mischief makers. I don't know what they're trying to. They don't want to give the government and the military their due, which is.
Prof, honestly, as political and security reporter, I am always curious, especially this last case, because it was unique. Is it that these people released these people pro bono?
No, I can tell you, and I can tell. Where's your camera? No ransom was paid for this. Never was ransom paid throughout the course of our work as the Chief of Defense Staff Action Committee.
And there was no prisoner exchange?
Absolutely not. No prisoners from Kirikiri. This is ridiculous. Who would take 101 prisoners to Kirikiri and released quietly at 6 a.m.? Come on, fellow Nigerians. Whoever wrote that nonsense should be locked up, or he was smoking something. So,
even though you have defended our,
right, Hamza,
you praise them for doing well, but Nigerians are still asking the NCC, tracking what these people are doing and all that. But still, you people are communicating, others are communicating with them, helpless Nigerians are communicating with them, taking money. Where is the problem and what is the way forward?
Right, good. And like I told you, I'm not here sitting as a spokesman for the military or Garba or Femi Adesina.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about our work here. But seriously, there is hope. What is the hope? The hope is that if we all come in and work together, we can alleviate the sufferings of our people. We can play a role in whatever little way in bringing peace. I will tell you one of the times we visited the CDS. He said he was a theater commander in the Northeast. So he has seen war. There are many villages, many towns in the Northeast that will never recover on the face of the map. Is this what we want for this part of the country? Nobody would want that in any part of those. So everybody needs to do whatever he can do. That is why we all must do our part. And we are glad we did our part, but that shouldn't be the end of our work. Our work, we got 23, we got 11, we got total, let's say all the 63 out. There are hundreds more all across this country. The government and the military needs to find a way to see how they can put people together.
And you think it's doable?
Absolutely.
Okay, now on a lighter note.
Absolutely.
On a lighter note. You were seen as non-partisan for a very long time. Suddenly you declared support for Atiku Abubakar. Why? What
do you mean non-partisan? This is politics we're talking. Because I'm not a card-carrying member of any party.
Up till now?
No, because I wasn't a card-carrying member of any party doesn't mean
people see you from that prism.
I'm not partisan. And I've always urged fellow Nigerians, especially our youth, get involved in politics.
To support Atiku?
No, just wait. Get involved in policies, because I will tell you, there was this World War I Prime Minister of France that said war is too important to be left to the generals.
Was that what you ventured?
I will paraphrase it and say,
yes, because the time is gone.
Politics is too important to be left to these people that call themselves politicians. Everybody must come in. I supported Atiku. I declared my support for Atiku.
And you've been going around also.
Absolutely.
Talking about him.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go deep into that, but assuming he is defeated by maybe candidate of APC or any other political party, will you support that president and the party?
Right, and I will tell you first and foremost, your assumption is wrong. Atiku Abubakar will win this presidency hands down. Let's take it away.
Anyway, we will invite you to discuss more on this. Professor Usman Yusuf, former Executive Secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme, who also doubled as the Secretary of the Chief of Defense Staff Committee for the negotiation of abducted train passengers. Thank you very much for coming to the program. All this while, viewers will be discussing with Professor Yusuf on the train abductions and issues around the negotiation. And this is where we come to the end of the program, hoping that you will join us tomorrow for another edition of the program. For now, thank you very much for watching. I am Hamza Idris.